When I met my husband, he was Jewish and I was not, and I started to get interested in Judaism. We talked about a lot, if we have kids, would they be Jewish, would they not be Jewish? And I knew I wanted Jewish kids either way, but I had to know that converting was my decision and the right choice for me. I studied with the rabbi for a year when I decided to convert, and right before our wedding, I went to the mikveh. Because I did not grow up with a Jewish tradition, the JCC offered a way to teach me Jewish traditions for my family and my children that I never grew up with.
I always did enjoy an active lifestyle when I was younger, and then business has a way of making you forget because you get so focused. When they built this place, I worked myself up to 300 pounds. My days were get up in the morning, immediately start working, even before breakfast, maybe miss breakfast, grab a cup of coffee, something that keeps you awake. And then you get too busy and oh, now you missed lunch. And now you go home, you have dinner at 6 o'clock, and then you just kind of sit on the sofa with your laptop, still working, and you never stop eating until you fall asleep.
My parents immigrated here from the former Soviet Union, and I was the first person in my family to be born here. Back in the former Soviet Union, they couldn't practice Judaism freely. The JCC was one of the first organizations that reached out to my parents, offering lots of programs for them to be a part of. So that was a big part of Judaism in our family.
I came to a weight loss class at the JCC, and I figured, well, my problem is I'm eating at night too much. If this weight loss class is at night, I'm gonna try it because now it'll substitute that time slot for eating for working out. Then I came in the first night and literally I almost fainted. One of the trainers was there. He says, okay, here's what you're gonna do when you come back tomorrow. So there was this expectation of come on back tomorrow, not come back when you can do a jumping jack. Come back, we're gonna show you how to do this. Now I'm a Boy Scout leader. 2 weeks ago, we went camping in Uvis Canyon, and I went with the troop and a couple of the other dads, and we went on over a 5-mile hike up and down the mountains. There's no way I could have done that 3 years ago.
When my daughter was 3 and my son, my second child, was 2.5 weeks old, my dad suddenly passed away. 8 months later, my husband went in for a surgery that should have had him on his feet feeling great, went to 2 weeks later, but there was a complication, and a week later he had to have an emergency surgery and had a 50-50 chance of survival. I really relied on the JCC and the preschool to support me through that. The JCC offers my kids an amazing early child education, which I see the effects of every single day in their lives and their development, but also a Jewish education, from baking challah to making crafts to understanding the holidays to singing Shabbat songs and to making friends with their Jewish community that other preschools couldn't have offered.
When I started preschool at the JCC, it was at the Terman campus. After my preschool experience, I started camp, and I did camp almost every year. I went river rafting 4 years in a row, which I would have never done if it weren't for the JCC. I was terrified my first year. I also participated in Maccabi Arts Fest and Maccabi Games 2 years in a row. I've worked at the preschool, worked in the office. I feel really fortunate to have been able to attend these programs. It's just life experience that you can't really get anywhere else. And if it weren't for the scholarships, I definitely wouldn't have been able to attend the programs. I'm currently studying speech-language pathology at De Anza Community College. I picked to study speech-language pathology because I love working with kids. Working at the preschool really opened me up to the world of kids because I've never worked with kids before. You get a different perspective of life from kids. The happiness, the joy, you don't really get that from anywhere else. It's just pure happiness and pure fun.
I got a flyer in the mail from the City Hall when they wanted to build the place. And here in this location was an old condemned Sun building that was attracting rats and everything else in the area. So I was all for it.
I just remember this feeling of excitement and growth, just really just in the next chapter for the Jewish community here in the Mid-Peninsula.
I think the biggest thing about being part of the JCC community is really the word community, because walking down the town square, you constantly see people smiling at you, and that's not a feeling you get just anywhere walking down the streets of Palo Alto, but at the JCC, everyone knows each other, and if you don't know each other, everyone's so welcoming and so kind.
The JCC is the gathering center for all the Jews in the area to come and mingle and interact and get to know each other and become friends and grow up and develop and try to enrich their lives.